Okay guys, we're going to pick up on our second video on this SHTF series from Selco's SHTF School, and we're picking up right where we left off the other day. And the question is, wasn't it religious, the war? Sorry man, wrong info. That was not Christian versus Muslim war. It was a civil war with lots of switching between sides. And sorry, I am not to go into politics. I don't care much for that. I'm not going into religious stories. I mean, I believe in God as a higher power, and I am trying to live by his laws. I am not belong to any dogma, Muslim or Christian. Who was your support group? My group was only my family, my blood relatives like uncles, grandmother. In my street and in my town trips, I had some close friends, but my best friends was my family. I never take a stranger in my close group. If you had 3 months to prepare today, what would you do? If I have extra 3 months to prepare, probably run overseas. Joke. Okay, now I am very well aware how things can go very bad in a very short time, so I have food, hygiene, energy, etc. supply for 6 months. I live in an apartment with some improved security. I have a house with shelter in a village some 5 miles from my apartment. In that house, I have 6 months worth of food. That village is a small community. Most of them are my relatives. Most of them are prepared. They learned from that war. I have 4 kinds of fire weapons with 2,000 bullets for each. Sorry, I cannot go into details. Laws on different here for rifles. I have a big garden with that house and some good knowledge about gardening and farming. I think I have knowledge how to now to smell trouble. You know, when everybody is saying that everything is going to be fine, you somehow know that is everything going to fall apart. I think I have strength to do everything that it takes to keep me and my family alive, because when everything is going to SHTF, be sure you are going to do some bad things to save your kid. You don't want to be a hero. You want to survive with your family. One-man survivor, no chance. It is my opinion. No matter how well armed and prepared, at the end you're going to die. I've seen that many times. Family groups or close friends with a lot of preparing and lots of different knowledge. I believe that is the best. So he's believing that, you know, the lone wolf theory, at least in his scenario that he was in, did not work out. What items should we stockpile? Well, it depends, I guess. If you stock only one thing, you're not going to survive. Unless you want to survive like a robber, then you need only a gun and a lot of ammo. I believe besides ammo, food, hygiene, energy, things like batteries, etc., you need to focus on small things for trade. Pocket knives, lighters, flints. So he's recommending a lot of bartering type items or things to trade with. Also, a lot of alcohol. That can stay long. I mean, stuff like whiskey, and that does not important what kind. You can have cheapest kind. It is a very good thing to trade in a desperate time. Also, lack of hygiene things killed a lot of people. I've seen that. And I think I did some videos on that too recently on how important hygiene was in Selco's situation. You're going to need to have some simple things like, for example, a lot of garbage bags. I mean a lot. Many uses for that. And a lot of duct tape. Many uses for that. In case of a weapon, keep it simple. I mean, now I always carry a Glock 45 with me because I like that gun. But it is not unusual gun and usual caliber here. So I also have 7.62 millimeter TT Russian pistols hidden, because almost everybody have that gun here and a lot of ammunition. I don't like Kalashnikov, but there is that rifle on almost every third house. So most of the time I collect my water from the roof in 4 big barrels during the war, then cooked to disinfect it. We also had a river in that town, but it was too polluted if you can't choose. I guess it depends how far you're going to go to survive with your actions. You need to be prepared to do some ugly things. Oh yes, it changed my perspective on life. I know now that bad things can happen, and on more important thing, actually I believe it is most important. I don't anymore believe government and authority, not at all. When they really doing their best to assure you that everything's going to be fine, you can be sure that something bad is happening. Do not just believe, research. So he's recommending here when they say peace and safety, that's when your antennas should go up. That's when you should really be looking around and sniffing the air. Next question. What about the Civil War and religious fighting? Did gold and silver help much? And how did you get alcohol and other supplies? I believe in some point this discussion's gone the wrong way, and I'm not offended. Everybody has the right to their opinion. So here's a few of my opinions. It was a civil war. Yes, there was a great influence of religion, but somebody mentioned, what did you do with people of other religion? Well, in my family, there are people with different religious beliefs. So what do you mean by that? I'll try to explain to you simple. It was an attackers and defenders. A lot of switching sides. A civil war. War ended without winners. It ended with truce, thanks mostly to the USA. It was the wrong war, wrong reasons. I did not fight for religion or ethnicity. I fought to keep my family and myself alive. For the last 15 years, we have peace. We live with people who used to be our enemies. I do not want to have a war and enemy again because ethnicity or religion or any other reason. Please do not try to generalize anything about that war. There was not good and bad side. We all suffered, and we all try to live together again. And yes, every side did bad things. Every side had both good and bad guys. I am here for only one reason, survival. I want to learn, and I can share some useful stuff with you. I don't think about your religious beliefs, your ethnicity, or your political opinion. Few words about my city before the war. It was a usual Balkan town, normal life, decent people, schools, theaters, parks, college, airport, crime rate very low, town like most of the smaller towns in USA, I think. I was a young man just like any of you maybe. Now, a very important thing. I am not here to discuss war reasons or sides, religion or anything similar. Thanks to the war in my town was real SHTF situation, and we can discuss only about that. Only that is important. You have a lot of internet pages. You can learn everything about the war, and you can choose a side that you want. Okay, that's it. About survival. I don't know about other people on this forum, but I have a lot of alcohol stored now. At the beginning of the war, a tank grenade smashed the front wall of a small distillery, an alcohol factory close to my house. So we took something around 500 liters of rakia. It is something like local whiskey, I guess. It is made from grape. It's very strong. It was great stuff for trading. People used alcohol a lot. Desperate times, I think. We also used it for disinfection. About hygiene, cups and plates, paper or plastic, you're going to need a lot. I know we did not have it all. My opinion that hygiene things is more important maybe than food. You can easily shoot a pigeon. If you have a grandmother, she may know some eatable plants on near a small hill, but you cannot shoot hand sanitizer. Water purifying pills, all kind of cleaning stuff, sanitizers, lots of soap, bleach, gloves, masks, all disposable. Take very good care about first aid training. Learn how to treat smaller cuts, burns, or even a gunshot wound. There is not a hospital. Even if you found a doctor somewhere, he probably do not have any meds, or you do not have stuff to pay him. Learn how and when to use antibiotics and have it a lot. Believe me, with good knowledge and a good amount of meds, you are going to be rich. About gold and silver, yes, me personally gave all my gold for ammunition in that time, but it was not worth too much. About pets, I did not have it. I did not notice a lot of pets in that time. Did somebody ate it? I don't know, probably. About small family, not good. Usually few smaller families get together in biggest house and stay together. In my case, it was all relatives. Small family or single man, not good for survival in town SHTF. Maybe in wilderness, I don't have experience in that, even if you stay low profile, hidden in your house with a lot of food, etc. Sooner or later, a mob's going to come, and you have maybe 1 or 2 guns. It's very hard. I agree with low-profile policy. It is very important not to attract people with anything, but when they come, you need to have numbers. People and guns. Best people is your family. About moving through the city, always nighttime, as I mentioned, never alone. 2 to 3 men, very fast. Never attract with anything. Look like everybody else. If most folks look desperate, poor, dirty, you need to look the same. There is no need that everybody know you have a good amount of food, ammo, clean clothes, and everything else back at home. Look and act like everybody else. When somebody attacks you and your family, then you need to show that you are very ready. I never walked in big groups. In that time and in that situation, big group is a gang. Now, this is all my experience. It was then I did a lot of mistakes. I am not an expert. I am here just like any of you to learn and share. For example, I don't know too much about wilderness survival. I am here to check it. What happened to those who died? Where did the people get firewood? Well, whoever died or got killed in that period did not get proper funeral. Folks used every piece of free land close to house for burial. Sometimes even in the garden, 2 to 3 city parks turned into graveyards after the war. Most of them are exhumed and properly buried. There was nothing like burning bodies or similar, as far as I know. Oh, one more interesting thing about fire. Some people used to go a few miles during the night only to find fire somewhere so they can fire up a piece of wood and bring it home and start a fire for cooking or heating. Lighters and matches was really precious, and most folks did not have enough firewood to keep always a fire. For most people, it was a constant search for something: fire, wood, food, ammo. Was salt valuable? It was valuable, yes, but not too much. For example, coffee or cigarettes were worth much more. What about cigarettes? I had a lot of alcohols, as I mentioned before. I traded almost everything without any problem. Let me say it like this. Consumption of alcohol was probably 10 times more than in normal time, not to mention cleaning and disinfection. On the other side, you made a very good point. If you have money and time and you have storage, it is probably better to store cigarettes or candles and batteries for trade or food. I was not a prepper at the time. We did not have time to prepare. A few days before SHTF, politicians on TV stated that everything is fine, and then the sky fell down. We just take what you can. Let's do one more question and then we'll stop for tonight. Tell us more about cooking and foods you were able to prepare. Were you concerned about the smell getting around and alerting people that there was food over there? About cooking before SHTF, I used in my house electricity for both cooking and heating. So when everything started, I traded some stuff for some kind of old wood stove. I put it in the kitchen and fixed an exhaust pipe through a hole in the wall I used for cooking and heating. So he rigged up a wood stove in his house. During the summer, I cooked in my backyard. It was walled or brick, luckily. Concerning the smell of food, I'll try to picture situation. No electricity, no running water, sewage off for months, dead bodies in ruined houses, grime and mess. Believe me, it was very hard to smell something nice. It was not like in movies. It was ugly, dirty, and smelly. Yes, I had a few problems because of cooking, only a few, but as I said before, enough people properly armed and with the will to defend, and you can manage most of the problems with that. Probably situation would be different in wilderness. I ate mostly some kind of pancakes with local herbs. It does not require cooking oil and too much firewood. And of course, everything what I could get and trade. Rice was good to eat. Not too much firewood for that. I think I had luck. Only a few times I ate funny things like pigeons. I always had something to trade. I guess that saved me. And guns, of course. So in tonight's video, we covered a couple more questions regarding Selco's SHTF experience. And I think in tonight's video, it just goes to show you that, you know, we tend as preppers sometimes to look for these big these big preps that we have to get prepared. And he's saying here that the simplest things were the most important. Simple things like hand sanitizer and alcohol and matches and lighters. And, later on you'll see that, batteries and headlamps and candles and things you could not only use each and every day, but also trade for other things that you may not have. So, it's not that hard to put aside, a couple hundred lighters or a couple hundred small candles, and, take what you need for emergencies and then put the rest aside for trading or bartering. Same thing with cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I don't know how much a carton of cigarettes even costs, nor how long it lasts. If anybody knows that, feel free to chime in. How long a carton of cigarettes can last on a shelf if you don't open it? Is it a couple of years, a couple of months? And will it matter anyway? In the SHTF, people will smoke it anyway, even if it's dried out or stale or whatever. Alcohol, we know, lasts forever as long as you keep it in a good spot. So little things. That's the picture I'm getting here. And then also this lone wolf versus group mentality. There's a lot of questions around YouTube, a lot of videos made on this. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but in his situation, he's saying in the city or an urban environment where they were, to be a lone wolf was basically a death sentence. It did not work out because of the way gangs and hordes of people went about the neighborhoods, taking advantage of people like that. To hide away with just you and your pet, you may not have been seen again, is what he said. And I heard that in some of his audio trainings that I listened to. So I hope you get a good picture forming in your head of what this SHTF might be like, especially like cooking. He's saying all the smells and the death and the sewage. Try to picture that all going on at once. And just firing up a stove and cooking something outside may not really be a big deal after all, as long as you're concealed and not really seen. So we'll continue with this tomorrow in our next video, and take it from there. Questions and comments are always appreciated, guys. Let me know if these videos are helpful. I hope they are. It's helpful for me because I like to go back and watch them and go over things, and keep repetition and keep things in my own head that I need to get together. So hope this helps out, guys. Remember, stay ready, and we'll be back with another update soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.